What is good, y'all? It's Ronald, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com. This is Let's Cap, and as you can see, we got a full house tonight. We got an all-star panel today. We got Austin Wang, A Wang underscore HTX from Action Network, Chris B. Cappin, always here dropping knowledge, and with his spaces and all that stuff going on too. This guy's a busy man, and he's able to make time for me here. Jay Money as well. He got a show in like 15 minutes, and he's still trying to pop in here. I love the fact that you guys can support the show with the limited time that you guys have. Man, I love it. I love this panel this Friday. This is a good one here. Jay, how's your week been going? Talk about that real quick, and then we'll get into the games too.
I mean, everything going good, man. I can't complain, right? Life is good. I got a daughter that I get to take care of every single day, raise as well. So NBA hadn't been going the best, but it's all good, man. Still got That's why you manage your bankroll. You see what I'm saying? You manage your bankroll that way. Tough times, they're gonna come, but it's time to start stacking up these fucking wins here.
Yes, sir. It is time. Austin, how's everything going with you? It's been a
Everything's
while
going
since you've
great.
been here.
Yeah, everything's been going great. I've had a good month of January, up 15 units, so I've been happy about that after a crazy bloody December. So
Yeah, December was bad
I'm
for me too.
stoked. And then for the guys in the chat that know, I'm heading to the Royal Rumble this Sunday to watch it in live in
Let's
person in
go.
the Alamo Dome. So I'm stoked about that.
I'll try to look for you because I'm having a watch party at the house with my kids. So
Yeah.
I'll look for you in the stands. Chris, how's everything going? How'd you do yesterday?
Good. I see a lot of things that we talked about came to fruition yesterday, man. I'm just pissed that I ain't take Spencer Dinwiddie points because they cashed, I think, in the first half, man. Finished with 36 last night, and we were complaining about the line being too high, 18 and a half. So
yeah, you're like it's right on the dot. It's right on the dot. Yeah,
right. Luka getting hurt did help, a little bit, but Dinwiddie got in the bag yesterday. But Celtics team total over. I talked about it yesterday, man. It was favorite play. Ended up taking the overtime, but they got there yesterday. Cavs fell 2 points short, scored 5 points in the last 5 minutes of that game, man. That's the way the NBA been going this so far, RC. Yeah. So that won't, that was a loss. And then Garland talked about his points plus assists yesterday. Not big on birthday narratives, but I'm big on them when you're playing against the Houston Rockets. So like Garland yesterday against the Rockets, he cashed that points and assists over as well. So pretty good week so far. So you're looking to keep it going for sure.
Yeah, yesterday I was frustrated during the show because I was like, man, we did a whole hour. I had no plays, but ended up going with the Hornets game under. That one cashed. I did take the Clippers over. That one cashed, but I did take the Spurs, which did not at all. They weren't even close, but at least they helped push the pace to get it over. So that was all that matters. So 2-1 on the day, 1-0 in college basketball. So hopefully we keep going here. Get some winning picks today. Let's actually get straight into it. I know Jay and Austin are both limited in time. One game that we were looking at here, the Bucks. The Bucks is one of the games that we're looking at, and I think we're all aligned here with this first quarter. Jay, break it down for them.
Man, you got to find some type of way to fade this Pacers team, man. Only 2-8 straight up and against the spread last 10 games. Obviously, they're a shell of themselves without Halliburton, man. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the Bucks come out there and cash the trifecta. Bucks are trying to get hot right now. 2 straight wins. I know that they didn't cover that late spread versus the Nuggets, but if you got the early one, they did cover that -7 over there. And we know that was kind of just the game they don't really care about. But they're starting to get hot. They're facing an Eastern Conference opponent here that they almost just lost to without all their guys as well, but they came back and won them by 12. But yeah, man, Pacers have dropped every single first quarter since that Bucks game as well. Bucks starting to get hot. Giannis, absolute matchup nightmare here. I ride with my guy Chris here with the Bucks first quarter -2.5.
Yeah, I think we were seeing a lot of the same things. I mean, you think about that game against the Bucks with no Jokic, no Murray. There was no sense of urgency in their part, and I think they're gonna be like, man, we didn't perform well at all. I think they're gonna have a nice bounce back offensive performance, and it's probably gonna be from tip to buzzer as well. What are your thoughts on this one, Chris?
Yeah, man, I think Jay said a lot. I see a couple of other things that I was looking at. We always talk about motivation, not really wanting to take these teams just because they're better than the other teams, right? I think that was one of the things that kind of talked you off wanting to play some of those favorites yesterday. A good thing you didn't, because favorites took a hit yesterday. The dogs was covering yesterday. Yeah. So I'm trying to cap it from a motivational standpoint, RC. When you taught me this SDQL stuff, one thing I can look at, and you can go check this out, the Bucks, when they're coming off home win, and they're an away favorite in the next spot, do they come out flat? Because some teams do, right?
Yeah.
This team does not, right? So you can see the 6-point gap in margin right there in the first quarter, 31.6 to 25, right?
Yeah, and they're not even covering all these games either. So that's a good point. Yeah.
But they're jumping out early, right? So another thing I did, RC, because Giannis has been in and out of the lineup, same thing with Drew Holiday throughout the season. I just went in and looked there, right? What I got is Bucks are winning the first quarter by average 33 to 23, 10-point margin when they're away favorites with Giannis and Drew Holiday both into the lineup. You look a little deeper, right? When they're in this situation and they're coming off a home game, they're still winning the first quarter by 6 points, right? So we know that they got to go on the road, but I don't think it's a flash box for them at all. Jay mentioned this as well. Pacers without Halliburton, it's been 10 games now. They're losing the first quarter by average of 6 points. So they're falling behind early. They before they even know what hit them, it's over. You know what I mean? First quarter gone, they got smacked. So that's what I got for you, RC. I got a couple other things too, but stats and trend wise, I just think it's a smash spot. I think the team total over for the Bucks in the first quarter will probably also hit as well. But I played the spread -2.5 in the first quarter.
Yeah, here's another one that supports it here. The Bucks on the road against conference opponents with a losing record. 7-2 straight up, 5-3-1 ATS, 7-2 to the under. But we're looking at that first quarter margin there, 9.2 plus 9.2. So I'm just really gonna take that first quarter Bucks. That's the only way that I could go here. I mean, we've been able to fade the Pacers in the first quarter for the most part of the season. So why stop now in a spot where we think the Bucks could come in motivated, right? Austin, you have any props or anything to add to this one?
No, not much to add beyond what y'all just said. I'll ride with you guys with the first quarter. Got to keep fading the Pacers 14, 35-1 first quarter against the spread. So, yeah, like you said, why stop now? Last time they played, Giannis wasn't there. Bucks still smacked them, even though, the Pacers kept it close for the most of the game, but they needed a perfect game from TJ McConnell in that game to even keep it close. So, I mean, with Giannis back, I can't argue with it. I'm going to roll with you guys.
Yeah, another thing too, I just went to NBA.com, and if we filter first quarter on the full season, the Pacers first quarter net rating -17.2. That gap is huge. The next team is the Spurs at 13.7. That's a huge ass gap, dude. I mean, that's the only way that we could look here. And if for some reason the Pacers come through, I would take that 99 out of 100 times. Maybe 100 out of 100 times. I would take the Bucks.
Let's not even speak that. We're not even speaking of that.
Let's move on to this next one here. Grizzlies, Wolves. Jay, I know you got a spot here on the Grizzlies side, right?
Yeah, it's a sandwich spot for me. I don't like the spot. I mean, obviously Grizzlies have been struggling. They're missing Adams over there, but something I kind of noticed in last game, we know that Triple J can play the 5, right? So now Adams does a lot for them, screening, obviously offensive rebound, all that. I mean, he loves screening for Ja, but I mean, Jaren Jackson is not a bad screener as well, and the offense might be a tad bit better. Steven Adams is not a shooter at all. You can look at it this way: you can space the floor with Triple J out there, so it actually could be a lot tougher on teams. And you know what? I just thought of some as well. And this was the main reason why they kind of struggled versus the Wolves. It was Adams. He was the main guy that struggled versus the Wolves in that playoff series. That's the only reason why I went to 6 games. I think I like this even more now. I think I just told myself this is the game where Adams, it's actually sitting him, will do well for the even though they got Gobert on the other side, this will do well for their offense, be able to space out. You've lost all 4 games on this road trip so far. I guarantee you they're saying, look, guys, we can't effing go 0-5 on this road trip. Obviously, we just lost a close one versus the Warriors. It's time to stack up a win here. You got the Wolves on their side as well, coming off a revenge spot versus the Pelicans. Then they have a game tomorrow versus the Sacramento Kings as well, and that's also a revenge spot. You got a sandwich of revenge spots here. Give me the Grizzlies here, -3 to bounce back here. Hopefully Bane plays.
Yeah, Chris or Austin, do you guys have a look on this one? Austin?
No, I don't. I mean, I have some systems favoring the Grizzlies. Got some revenge spots, road favorites. Even though the road favorites haven't been covering too much this year in general, I do have a system favoring the Grizzlies. And yeah, great point, Jay. Yeah, Steven Adams was unplayable in that playoff series, and after they benched him, they started succeeding a lot more. So yeah, that's a great point right there.
Yeah. Well, what do you think, Chris?
I think Jay make an interesting point about the sandwich spot. That's one of the. I mean, Jay in these spots, man. Jay, you should call yourself Spot Jay because Jay's always about a spot, man. And I hadn't really thought about it from the spot perspective of you know, that Pelicans game did mean a lot to them, and they won that one, and then they, you know, coming home and first game back home. But injury wise for this one, I see just kind of kept me on the sidelines, man. I think it would be Grizzlies and nothing for me just because I think it's a super desperation spot. I know we talked about it earlier in the chat, right? You can't, and I talked about it early on my morning show as well. You can't go 0-5 on the road trip. We know the Grizzlies know that they can win at home, and they're gonna be back at home after this. So you got to get one of these games. You've been losing every game since last Friday when you lost to the Lakers. What's my guy's name? Did Shannon Sharp getting their head that much that they can't get a win? So I think they come out, hair on fire, I think is what I said on my show earlier. I see, and I would look towards them to be able to cover this one, but it's nothing I got in my pocket.
Yeah, do you think is Bane playing? Is he in or out?
Man, he's questionable. I don't see why he would miss this game. I didn't see anything. Last game, right? That indicates that he was actually injured. Could be just a little injury report manipulation here. I don't care. I'm starting to think that Grizzlies. Wait, Chris said they got to come out hot. I'm thinking Grizzlies first quarter and full game should be the spot here. But first, maybe I had to add on first quarter as well, because you got to come out hot in this one. And the Wolves could come out a little flat. I know it's only 2 games on the road, but it's still possibly a little flat spot. So if you're the Grizzlies, you got to jump out on them early here. And we've actually seen the Wolves come out consistently flat. They did it versus the Rockets 2 games in a row. And they did it versus the Pelicans as well. I think I'll be adding Grizzlies first quarter in this one.
All right, so for me, there was a lot of competing trends on both sides here, and that's why I stayed away. I think it's sort of like the same thought process of Chris here, but for the most part, a lot of things pointed me towards the under, and a few things here. So when we look at the Timberwolves as home dogs, they do well in this spot on the spread here, but for the most part, what I was looking at was the total, because we're seeing an average about 229 or close to 230, and we have a high total of 238.5. I think the last couple of weeks we've been seeing a lot of higher totals. We've seen like 240s. We might end up seeing 250s like sometime soon. But by that time, I think we're going to start getting a cluster of unders. And it might start today, because if we look at the last 10 games between the Thunder and the Grizzlies separately, right? They're both top 10 in defensive rating their last 10 games on their own, both in the middle of a pack in offense. So I think there's a little thing, some stuff going on here where both teams are primarily focusing on the defensive side of the ball. I think the fast pace is giving them a higher total than it should be, but maybe the defenses show up here. The other thing is too that the Wolves on the first leg of back-to-back games, Grizzlies offense just have been struggling here lately, so maybe they focus in on their defense to get them the win tonight. All right, there's just still different things that I was looking at for the most part here. Another thing too on the Grizzlies side, we look at them here, and they're on the road. They're a road favorite and following a loss. 6-1 to the under, and this one, the one that went over, only went over because it was an OT. So a lot of things pointed to the under here. The only reason why I stayed away is because I did do that ref report, and we got Andy Nagy, and Andy Nagy and Scott Foster are reffing this game. And for them two combined, 40 and 21 to the over this season for ref in their games that are being ref. So from a ref perspective, if we look at how they look at these games, especially when you have teams attacking the paint here, like the Grizzlies, they might get to the free throw line a lot and push this one over. So that's the only reason why I stayed away from the total side too. So I hopefully that helps somebody with their over or under look. But I can't talk anyone off the Grizzlies here. It does seem like a spot where they need to get a W before they get back home.
The last thing for me, guys, before I get up out of here, the Wolves have lost 6 straight first quarters, not like loss against the spread. So they're 0-6 against the spread last 6 first quarter. That just speaks volumes to me, saying that they've been coming out really slow. And then kind of sort of warming up as the game goes in this one. Put me down for Grizzlies in the first quarter. Grizzlies full game minus 3. Like I say, hopefully Bane plays. I don't see why he wouldn't, especially with them needing a win as well, man. So I hadn't bet Grizzlies first quarter yet, but I'm about to do it right now before I hop on this Bet US show. Give me Grizzlies Grizzlies first quarter -1, full game -3, and could be a trifecta spot. And Bucks first quarter -2.5. Honorable mentions for me would be Wendell Carter Jr. under his 24.5 points in points, rebounds, assists. Maybe could just look at 13.5 points. He plays the Bulls tomorrow. That's his turnover spot. I lean the Cavs. I lean Evan Mobley over 8.5 rebounds. Somebody's killing the boards for the Cavs in that one. It's going to be Mobley, Allen, Dean Wade. Somebody, man, they're getting the boards in that one. And then that Raptors game. Yeah, I want to lean Raptors. I want to lean Scotty Barnes over 5.5 assists as well, guys. That's it for me. I got to get out of here for these people to start calling me.
All right, Jay. Good luck on your show today, bro.
All right, Chris, Austin, Ronald. Let's get this fucking cash.
All right, Jay. Let's get it, bro.
All right. Any last comments on this one here? I'm not gonna have an official play on it, but only way that I could look. I agreed with like in the chat earlier. I did say Grizzlies first quarter. I did do more research on it, and I was just like, all right, forget. I'm just gonna pass on it, because I already took the Bucks first quarter too. I saw a better play on the board, so I stayed off of that Grizzlies first quarter. But for the most part, I would lean towards the Grizzlies. Also to the under here. Did you guys have any other last looks here?
No, I would agree with your take on the under, even though I don't have a strong opinion on it. I do think the number is too high, and the system that I have active on it. And you mentioned it, the Grizzlies on the road, and but just overall, like league wide, teams on a 4-game or more road trip, and they're away favorites, they've tended to go under too. They get fatigued towards that end of the road trip, and their offense, they lose a little bit of their legs. So yeah, under I think is a decent look. I'm not, I don't have a strong take on it, but I would lean towards that way as well.
Look at their home road splits as far as like points per game. 120 per game at home, and then on the road 114.4. Maybe a pivot to their team total under. Would you say? Like even if they cover tonight, it might be because of their defense, right? Because they're just really struggling offensively right now. I don't know what's that stuff. But yeah, maybe that's the way to go. Maybe a pivot towards their team total under, because they could still cover in that case. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Magic versus Heat. Austin, I had a lean towards the Magic last night and also towards the under in this game. I didn't get there with either play, but maybe you could talk me into this Magic here.
I mean, just overall, the Magic have been covering machines this season. They're 27-18-3 against the spread overall, and they're 25-13-3 against the spread as underdogs. On top of that, they're 12-5 against the spread off a win, and they're 11-4-1 against the spread against good teams, which are, I define good teams as teams with a win percentage of 55% or greater. And then I think the Heat, so I think they're undervalued. And then on the flip side, I think the Heat continue to be overvalued. They're awful against the spread. They're at covering the margin, particularly at home where they're 8-15 against the spread. And they're 5-11 against the spread versus bad teams, which I define as 45% win percentage and below. So just a case of a overvalued team in the market in the Heat versus an undervalued team in the Magic. And I'm favoring the Magic here. I think they have a good team, a good squad. Jonathan Isaac isn't playing, but he's only played one or two games so far, and I think they've got a good young squad that can keep it close against a pretty disappointing Heat team.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this one, Chris?
Man, I couldn't disagree with anything that Austin said. It sounds like he got my notes and then he did a remix of them because they got all the same stuff in them.
Oh yeah, we got some similar looks.
Yeah, we got. I mean, mine is a tad bit different. I see the way I capped the game. First, the fade. I'll go backwards. So I know Austin talked about liking the Magic first, but for me, I'm looking at the Heat more so as a fade. Just 4-9-2 against the spread as a home favorite when the total is below 220. When the total is 220 or less, and they're expected to win the game by 6 or more, they're 1-5-1 against the spread. Heat also just 3-8 against the spread as a home favorite versus teams that have a 40% win percentage or lower. I know Austin mentioned that 45, but they're not like, I think, to quantify this, because we talk about a lot of numbers, but to quantify this, what we're saying is that the Heat win games. We're not saying that they don't win. We're saying that they don't care about covering spreads though. And 8 is a really, really big number. So when I see that a team is 3-8 against the spread as a home favorite against teams that have a 40% win percentage or less, to me that says that they just want to win. They don't necessarily care about covering spreads. So in my opinion, that's what it shows, that they just want to win those games. You flip it to the Magic side, 11-8-3 against the spread as a away dog since December the 16th. They're 8-2 against the spread as away dogs. 3-1 against the spread as away dogs in conference games, with one of those losses actually coming on a home road back-to-back against the Washington Wizards, where they had to travel, major rest disadvantage. It was 2 days to 0. And they're 6-1 against the spread with at least 1 day of rest since December 15th as well, when they're away dogs. So I would only be able to take the Magic. I think that, they win the game. I think the Heat can win the game. I also think the Magic can win the game. And if I'm doing that, I'm definitely taking the plus 8. So yeah, it'd be Magic or nothing for me in this one. Don't like that they play Chicago tomorrow, but it's a short travel. This is not far at all. They got out early enough yesterday. They probably could have walked. So give me the Magic plus the 8 or nothing in this one, RC, but I didn't go official with it.
Yeah, real quick, just to support the Magic as well. The Heat as home favorites versus conference opponents with a losing record. 1-7 ATS there, 3-5 straight up. The only time that they won was this quick revenge spot here. They won, but they didn't cover. This game went into OT, and then they played them again, the following game with a day of rest, but they ended up winning and covering that one as well. So I can only look towards the Magic too. Some of the systems that I pulled was on the Magic. What do you guys think about the under though? Because a lot of things if we just look at current form for both teams, right? We look at the Heat here. 3 straight unders here. A lot of them, if we go just home, right? 4, 5, 6 of the last 7, 8 of the last 10 have gone under, right? And then we go to the Magic side. I think it was AD. As road dogs? No, that wasn't it. I was just seeing something. I was pointing towards the under here. I don't know what it was. I just looked at it. I can't find
on the unders. I know the Magic have been more of an overs team, and I know the Heat have been, they've been ramping up the defense lately, and they're more of an unders team lately. I don't know. Betting unders these days aren't. I'm not very comfortable with it. So
yeah, especially with it is a lower total as well. That's probably why I stayed off of it. But I can only look towards the Magic too.
RC, real quick. What up, Tim? Real quick, RC. Can we just look at the Heat real quick as home favorites? I wanna just kind of dispel this logic that they're playing really good basketball right now, because I watch a lot of these games, and we don't just look at the spread. So let's look at the teams that they've actually beaten recently, right? So you got the win over the Celtics. The Celtics were on the second leg of a back-to-back and weren't full strength, right? That was the most recent one. Then they beat the Pelicans, but didn't even cover. Zion is not there. Brandon Ingram is not there. And they had to muster up a lot to even come back, because they were losing that game. They lost the first quarter and the first half in that game, right? You get the Bucks twice with no Giannis in either one of those games, and you win and get a push, right? So how good are the Miami Heat really? I'm you know what I mean?
Even go a little bit further too, because the Lakers here, they were in the second game of back-to-back.
The Lakers didn't have Bron in that game either, right? So the Heat are getting help, they're winning games, but do we want to give them, full credit? So I don't know. I think the Magic are healthy, they're hungry, still trying to prove a lot to themselves. Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Munaf? Do you have anything on this one? Thanks for popping in, by the way.
No, man, I was just recording an NFL pod, but no, I didn't have anything for this game. It just seems like a lot of points, right? I know Miami has been playing better as of late, but you just look at their ATS number, man. It's just something that I personally can't get behind. I would only look at the Magic in this spot here. They're playing pretty good basketball. I think the length for the Magic could give fits to Bam Adebayo here tonight. I know they do give up a lot of points inside the paint to the Orlando Magic, but I just think that just 8 is a lot of points here for the Miami Heat. So I would look at Magic.
Yeah. That's the only way that I could look. I would say Magic would be the lean here. This one was the one. I think this might have been one of the ones that I looked at last night for the under here on this first leg of back-to-back games when they're on the road. So that means there's going to be travel involved for the next game. 4-1 to the under. It doesn't support the spread for the most part. But like Chris just said, and I didn't even think about looking at who they've been facing lately and the situations that they've been in that where they're winning these games. So it might be the situation where the Heat could be fraudulent at this point, right? These wins might be fraudulent wins. Any last words before we move on to the Cavs Thunder here?
No, but I got to run.
All right, yeah.
All right.
Appreciate it, Austin. We actually were able to get to both the games that you liked anyway. Oh wait, drop your Raptors Warriors real quick.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll go through it real quick. So I'm on the over here. The Warriors play at the fastest pace in the league, and then I think in the last game against the Grizzlies, you saw them play some really small lineups there with Curry, DiVincenzo, Poole, Thompson, and Draymond at the center. So that's with Andrew Wiggins out, and I think he's questionable again tonight. So potential to see more of that small lineup, and I think they're going to run, play at even a faster pace than their average, and they're one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the league, while the Raptors have a really poor 3-point defense. They're just a great team to the over this season so far, and they're 16-8-1 to the over against teams that play at a slower pace than league average. So I think they're just going to run them out. And then the Raptors, on the other hand, they can run too. They have some small lineups, and they have a tendency to increase their tempo when they're playing against these fast-paced opponents. They're 14-9 to the over against fast-paced teams. They're also third in the league in fast break points, and they are first in the league in points off turnovers. And I think they'll have a lot of opportunities with the Warriors being a high turnover team. And then finally, I just want to say the Raptors, they fit my assist to turnover ratio over system. You know, they've had a string of consecutive games with some strong assist to turnover ratio. So I just look to them to keep that efficient basketball and offense to continue in the next couple games. So I make this total of 236. So a slim edge there. I know we were talking last night and we saw 229.5 at open, and we were salivating. And then I don't know, come to wake up, it was 237.5. But now that it's sort of normalized and gone back down to 234.5, I think that's a fair number. I like that. I like the over there, and I'm going to take the first half over as well. Both teams are strong to the over in the first half, and I think the Raptors are one of those teams that slow it down in the second half. So I like the first half over and the full game over.
Yeah, just a couple of things to support that real quick before you go. Austin, Raptors, after they allow less than 100 points per game, they're 2-0 to the over in the following game. Average about 230, but these were low totals here. But they tend to give up a lot more points in the second game for the most part. So you see their opponent team totals going over. So if they're able to put up some points against the Warriors here, who have been struggling on the defensive side of the ball for the most part in recent games, I think this one also goes over. Another one to support it, Raptors in road games against Western Conference teams, 5-1 to the over here. This under here, the way that I looked at it, the reason why I went under, first thing is this is the first game over in the West Coast, right? So they had to travel from Toronto to Sacramento. So they probably had some travel fatigue there. And also the Kings were coming off a letdown spot. They just beat the Celtics by like 30 points, or I think it was Celtics. They beat a team by like 30 points. I believe it was one of the top tier teams, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a letdown spot for them. They only scored 95 points. So for me, I think that was a spot where they just both teams fell flat, right? They were in a bad spot. So I think they go back to normal here, and they go back to going over again. Prior to that, you could see the amount of points that they've been scoring going over. This one was a low total just because it was the Mavs here. But for the most part, seems like they're giving up a lot of points. And you go on the Warrior side, and we just go their last few games at home.
I got to run.
Yeah. So. All right. I appreciate it, Aston. If you go on the Warrior side here, you can see 6 of their last 5 opponents have gone over their team total at home. And we know their home road splits from the beginning of the season were kind of crazy, right? Their offense was great at home, their defense was great at home, and the opposite on the road. But now we're seeing it kind of go the other way in the last few games, since December, since January. Any thoughts on this one, guys, from a side perspective, maybe, or even more so to the total again?
Yeah, I like the over in this game as well. I know we were talking about in the chat last night. the 3-point defenses are concerned for both of these teams as well. You take a look at Golden State and both Toronto. I think over the last 10 games, I believe they're bottom 10, and I think Toronto may be even worse than that. I think I was watching that the Sacramento game with Toronto, and what they were doing is that they were trapping De'Aaron Fox as soon as he crossed half court. You can't do that against this Golden State Warriors team. Whether you're trying to trap Curry or if they have enough shooters and guys that can finish around the basket, and the way they just run their offense where they can still put up the points. And Toronto was dictating the pace in that game against Sacramento, but with Golden State, if you watch enough of their games, if you're playing against a slow team or a team that likes to get out and run, they're going to push the pace no matter what it is, whether it's on a make, whether it's on a miss. So I don't think pace is going to be an issue in this game. I do like the over in this game here as well. I agree with a lot of what Austin said.
Yeah. If you look at the offense from the Warriors side right now, right? Would you think of pivoting towards just the Raptors team total over? What do you think, Chris?
I can only agree with what Munaf said and what Austin said before he left. I like the over. I think the first half over is more in play. One thing I looked at, RC, is Munaf made excellent points, so I'm not going to regurgitate any of that, as well as what Austin said as well. But if you go to EV Analytics, the Raptors offense typically slows down a lot in the second half. And we see, teams come in Golden State and go under their total, right? We've been talking about that for a while now. I know it cashed the other day. I think it was Joey in the chat. I think it was something like 68-4 to the under when teams that team total if you just look at the fourth quarter scoring, RC, do you have it up? So fourth quarter, total. Yeah, check out the last 10. I think I was just kind of like messing around on here earlier, and I want to say the Raptors are. So click over again, RC. So it goes to under pretty much. Toronto
3-7,
3-7, right? So 3-7 there. I think points to score early. I think based on the way just kind of piggybacking off what Munaf said, the way that the 3-point shooting happens, and then what I think Austin brought up an excellent point as well. Golden State turns the ball over at a really, really high rate. Toronto leads I think they're like top 5 in the league as far as points off turnovers as well. So I like points to be scored in this game, and give them to me early just in case the pace slows down and it becomes a defensive matchup in the second half.
Yeah, if you look at
120.5, RC.
If you look at this here, what you just mentioned about the Raptors kind of slowing down in the second half, this is the first half total, 7-2-1 to the over the last 10 games, and what we saw in the fourth quarter was that there were the total opposite, 3-7. So that makes a lot of sense that maybe it is towards the first half. Even the Warriors here, 6-3-1 to the over. That does make a lot of sense.
Yeah. RC, if you go back to Killer Sports and you do Warriors, and just put in rest equals 1.
Man, they getting smacked. 16-6-2 to the over. Gotcha.
Yeah, but those first half numbers as well as kind of backing it up. I mean, it's spot on to what the number is tonight, but it really slows down in that fourth quarter where sometimes
what is the number?
Go to that. It's 120.5, RC.
Yeah,
is what I see it at.
Gotcha.
So I think you can see 30-30, 30-30. Yeah, it's a couple.
Look at that first quarter there.
Yeah.
What about the Raptors? Let's go back to the Raptors and see what they do in the first quarter. A lot of their totals is a lot lower, right?
It's been more. I feel like it's been more recent that they've actually picked up their offense a little.
That's because they've been getting a lot healthier.
Yeah, they've been getting a lot healthier. They were under team for majority of the season. It's been the last week or two that they've been picking it up a lot.
Yeah. Damn, look at that second quarter.
Yeah, Joey said that it doesn't apply today for that team total.
Yeah, I think he said 118.5. I think was the team total.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That first half and then fade the second. Do you think it has to do with the pace of play and also the Raptors? The Raptors they tend to play a slow, smaller rotation, right? So maybe they get tired legs towards the second half.
Tired legs. I mean, Munaf is like the GOAT of these first half, because I wasn't even looking at first half team totals, but Munaf brought it up, and I think a lot of it is what you just said, RC, but also you just think about the way Golden State plays. They're always flying up and down the court, so you're you're more inclined to make shots when you have, better legs, and typically that comes in the first half. And I think that's also, relevant for the Raptors. We also got to remember, this is for the Raptors. RCD, they are playing on the West Coast, right? So typically, East Coast teams, even though they play in Canada, they function on the East Coast time zone, right? For the start of their games, they typically start earlier. But I think the trends will support East Coast teams playing on the West Coast in the second game of that trip, to go under in the second half and them to score more in the first half as well. Jay always talks about being a sleepy spot, right? And you just kind of run out of gas late in the second half.
Dude, look at it. I think you guys are like spot on with this second half under. You know how we were talking about lately? Rockets second half under, right? The Raptors are like the East Coast version of the Rockets right now. But this also backs it here for the Warriors, right? Warriors at home, non-conference. You can see the smaller numbers here in the second half. They start to fade there. And then we go back to some of the stuff that we looked at with the Raptors as road dogs. Same thing here. Look at, they're only scoring like 51 points in that second half. That might be the way that we go today, is just taking that second half under. It doesn't even matter if they're covering or not, or over or under. They're just starting to fade in that second half. I'm gonna write that down. I think that might be the way to go. If we did the other day when we talk about the Rockets second half under, I didn't play it, but I was pissed because we talked about it, and that was exact game flow that happened. So I might do that today. I'm gonna put the Raptors here second half under.
And the numbers are backing it up as well. If you just look at NBA.com's stats, first half for the Golden State Warriors, they're number 1 in pace, and their offensive rating is number 10. And then if you do it to the second half, they're still number 1 in pace, but their offensive efficiency drops all the way down to number 27 in the second half. So again, it kind of just backs it up where the unders are at least where Color Sports is saying it, and the numbers for the second half under for the Warriors, it's where the money is at. But I think the best bet might be to just go first half over.
First half over?
Yeah. Because the pace is, like you see right there, second half, the pace is still there. But if you hit that the offensive rating, it drops all the way down to like, I think 27th, I think, in the second half.
That's crazy.
Versus where it's top 10 in the first half, but with the same amount of pace.
Good fun, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Because then they start to rely on the defense towards the end of the game. I know YBB came on my show 2 days ago, I see, when Golden State was playing Memphis, and he talked about the total being too high, and he talked about him taking the over and how much of a sweat it was, because in the second quarter, I think like literally 80 points were scored. Both teams scored 40 in the second quarter.
He took the under. I remember that one. We were both on the right. I think he was on the full game under, and I was on the team total under. Right. So we were kind of sweating that one.
But the reason why it happens, RC, is because the defense picks up and the offense slows down in the second half, right?
Yeah.
You have to be praying for that when you see 2 40-point quarters.
They had like 75 points in that third quarter. That was kind of crazy. All right. I think we got that one game flow wise. I think we locked that one down. First half over, second half under. I wonder if they have that prop. Right? Don't they have those props where you can take both? They probably have that. But that would be the way that I go here. The way that I was looking at it, I just did the triple double show, but I was looking at the Raptors team total over. But I think I'm gonna pivot off of that and just kind of follow what you guys said here, because it makes a lot of sense, and a lot of the numbers are backing it up as well. So I will ride with you guys. All right, we got one more game here. Cavs and the Thunder. This is the one. This one's fishy to me, I think. Thunder here as favorites. Even if Mitchell's out, I would have still assumed that the Cavs would have been favorites here. I don't know. What do you guys? The Thunder. If you look at the Thunder's record, I mean, you look at the Thunder ATS wise, they're just a covering machine, right? Typically, we like to take them as dogs, and then we look at them as favorites. We want to fade them, but they're actually profitable as home favorites this season. I know Jay said he was looking towards the Cavs here, but I can only look towards the Thunder. What are you guys' thoughts on this one?
I didn't really have much for this game, but I mean, you mentioned it that OKC has just been a covering machine. this season. 30-17-1 overall. They're 15-9 at home. Whether they're a home favorite or a road or home underdog, they're still 9-6 as a home underdog and 6-3 as a home favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something to this team, right? Like we've seen for the past several years where they've been either quote unquote tanking or just not been a very good football team. Oh, sorry, a basketball team. But you take a look at the season right now, they're only one game under 500 right now. So
they only have 2.5 games to like 5th in the West. The parity in the West is ridiculous.
Yeah. So I think for Cavs sitting on a back-to-back here, I don't think we'll see Donovan Mitchell. I know we discussed that yesterday. Maybe Darius Garland sits here tonight as well. I think that's what kind of my gut's telling me, but I can't fade this OKC Thunder team at home, man. I really can't.
His the other way that I was gonna pivot was actually towards the team total over for the. Is that trend for opposing teams? Oh yeah, okay, sorry. The Thunder as home favorites, right? We talked about it. So if we look at them as dogs, 25-10 ATS, right? If we look at them as favorites, 6-7 ATS. But if we add that they're at home, they're 6-4 ATS. But for the most part, you can see that their average 121.8 here on their side. The team total, I believe, today is 112. That's what I saw before the show. All these games went over 112 except for this one against the Wolves. That also happens to be the only one that they went under their team total. So that was the way that I was looking on this one. If I wanna stay away from the spread altogether, the team total over on the Thunder. On the Cavs side, this is what I want to show on the Cavs here. So they're road dogs. 2-7 straight up, 3-6 ATS. So they're not covering at a high rate here. But if we even include that they're going against a team with a losing record, they're 0-2 straight up, 0-2 ATS, 2-0 to the under, which is what got me. That's why I was kind of going back and forth with the team total or just taking the Thunder, right? Because they're losing outright in these spots here. Obviously as dogs, but they're also close to the line here. So a lot of things messed me up, right? There's things going in opposite directions. But for the most part, a lot of it is just the Thunder side. The Thunder and also the Thunder team total over. This one is funky because Warriors and Raptors, they're both really good home teams. I mean, in general, right? Especially during these time frames, right? This was actually the first game of the season. This one is during the time when the Warriors home and road splits were really apparent, where they were just killing it at home. Thunder, for the most part, they just cover shit. So I don't know. In as far as form, if we look at the Thunder here, they've won 7 of their last 10 games. They covered 9 in a row before that game against the Hawks. They're just in good form right now. I can't go against them at this point here. Yeah, that would be the only way that I look is towards the Thunder.
Yeah, OKC in non-conference games so far this season, 15-9 against the number. The non-conference games for the total, they're also 15-9. 15-9 in non-conference games against the spread, then 15-9 towards the over in non-conference games as well.
Gotcha. And if we look at that team total, that's only 8 unders. So that's 16-8 to the team total over as well. Fuck. What if they're at home against non-conference?
Yeah, that's what I was looking up as well.
Yeah. 123.7. Dude, like their team total tonight is only 112.
Yeah, 7-4 against spread, 8-3 to the over.
Yep. And then only two games with their team total under here. And with the way that the Warriors are playing defense right now, I mean, sorry, not the Warriors. The Cleveland team is so inconsistent defensively. I think they're going like back and forth. If we go to Cavs, I think they're going back and forth with opponent team total overs and unders right now. Like they're not consistent at all. Oh, there's some unders here, some over. Oh, they're mainly unders, I guess. I thought it was different. It might have been something else I was looking at. Maybe as dogs. Yeah, I don't know what I was looking at then.
All right, see, real quick. I spent a lot of time capping this game too, and
yeah, what do you
found
think?
a lot of the same stuff that you found. I think not to regurgitate everything you just said. I think the pivot for me might be, and it's difficult, right? Because Dort is out, right? Like we know how much he means, as far as defense. I think Donovan Mitchell probably won't play in this game, but Darius Garland is, he could be a monster, and they need somebody to be able to stay in front of him. If Dort was out there, I feel a lot more confident back in the Thunder in this spot today. But it's Thunder or nothing, like you said. I think the pivot, RC, that you didn't mention, maybe looking towards the Cavs team total actually to go under, right? Because a lot of the things that I had was support towards the over for the full game. The Thunder 7-2. You already had it on the screen. 7-2-1 to the over as a home favorite. 4-1 to the over as a home favorite when the line is short, like 1 to -3.5. And I got a lot of other support as well. But the Cavs are on their third game in 4 nights, and they scored a bunch of points in their last game. So this is what I got for the Thunder team total, for the Cavs team total to go under, RC. So they're 6-3 to the under on their team total as an away dog in general in 9 games. Right? You see that?
Yeah.
They haven't gotten there. 0-1 to their team total as away dogs with no rest. They did play the Rockets last night.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. Then I got teams are 3-1 to the under on their team total after playing the Rockets when they have a game the next day. look at that.
So it's like the opposite of what I was saying. Just like instead of the over, it's the under. I got you. So that was another angle, right? Sometimes when these teams play, when good teams play against bad teams, it takes them a while to get their footing back against, in their following game. So also Cavs 5-0 to the under on their team total when they're in a road game versus a team with a losing record and the spread is -1 or they're a dog. 4-0 to the under on their team total as an away dog versus a team with a losing record. So they don't play well against teams that have a losing record on the road as well. You can query that as well. So it was a lot of different things I had, RC. One more thing I want you to look at as well before we finish this game. So I want to look at home favorites playing against opponents on their third game in 4 nights. But I want to look at it specifically in the situation that the Cavs are in, RC. So previous rest, so rest equals 0, because it's going to be a little bit different there, I think. So I got 78.6%, 33 and 9, RC. If you did it the third game in 4 nights. So I wrote the rest out. So opponent rest equals 0, opponent previous rest equals 1, opponent previous rest equals 1. Wait. Say that one more time. Rest.
So just like so rest. So their rest equals 0.
Rest equals 0.
Mm-hmm. And then their previous rest equals 1.
Oh, gotcha.
Their previous rest equals 1. And could it be is that simple? Just because it's a money line play, right? And it's really it's a strong money line play.
Oh, because of where the line is at. Right,
because of where the line is. What you see? What did you get, RC?
What? Why is this different than what you're saying? Hold on. Say that one more time. So this is, so home favorite this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the third leg of third game in 4 nights.
Yeah, your third game in 4 nights. Or is it fourth game in 6 nights? So put previous rest equals 1 as well, RC. No, that's not it. Opponent on the third game in 4 nights, in which they also on the second leg of the back-to-back.
Real quick, let me know your query, Chris, but I'm gonna answer Gabriel's question real quick.
Okay.
The team total is the DPS and DPA. So delta points scored means how much they scored compared to what their team total was supposed to be for that game. So if it's a minus here, so if we say minus on the DPS, that means they went under their team total. If it's a positive here, that means they went over their team total. And then the DPA is the opponent. So how much they allowed. Did they allow their opponent to go over their team total? So that would be plus would be the opponent went over. And then the minus would be the opponent went under their team total. Hopefully that answers your question, Gabriel.
So RC, real quick. The only thing you messed up on was the opponent. So we typed it in as if it was the Thunder. It's the
just do O on all of them.
Yeah, just the O on all of them, and that should bring out 33 and 9 straight up, 78.6%.
Shit, still something wrong. Huh?
Oh no, it's PORC. Ain't it PORC? I think it's PO instead of the OP.
OP is opponent previous rest. PO would be previous opponent.
Hold on, flip it RC. Let me, because I feel like the game came up when I looked at it. Maybe I did it wrong. For all of them.
PO.
Yeah, PO for all of them. I should have just wrote the query down. And that one in the middle too, RC. Right there.
Put a P in front of it?
Yeah, P.
Wait, so no, if you put PO rest equals 1, PO rest equals 0, that would cancel each other out.
So it should be 1, 2, and then 3, right? 1P, 2P, 3Ps?
1P, 2P, 3P.
Let's see if that come up. That's what I came up with. Is it at the bottom?
Nope.
No, it's not. Yeah, I got to figure it out. Mine was 33-9, 78.6%, a trend that backed the Thunder today, just on the money line.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I really wanted to get there with the Thunder, but I think some of the stuff that you just brought up maybe talk me off a little bit. What were your thoughts on this one, Munaf? Sorry, I might have overlooked what you were saying. Did you have any look on this one?
What game was this?
The Cavs.
Oh, Cap. No, I didn't have anything on this. It was just, I think I said I like Thunder in this spot. Again, their ATS numbers at home have been really good.
Yeah, I could only look towards the Thunder as well. That's it as far as the games in today, guys. Went through all 5. Let's do a recap real quick. Hey, do you guys have time, Chris and Munaf? Do you guys have some extra time here? I'm about to drop the I'm about to drop the StreamYard into the comments here and see if anyone wants to pop up.
Okay.
And maybe they could talk to us about some of their plays here. So anyone in the chat here, anyone that's viewing, I just dropped the StreamYard chat. Make sure if you come in, if you want to come in, I'm only gonna do this for like 10 minutes. But if you want to come in, make sure you put your Twitter tag on your when you enter in. It's gonna ask you for your name and your Twitter. Just add your Twitter tag there, so that people know where to follow you and stuff like that. But I'll try to bring you guys up one at a time for about 10-15 minutes just to talk to us about some stuff. But before we get you guys, before I get some people to pop in, let's just go over the recaps real quick. So I'll stop sharing screen. And we'll go recap here. All right, let's go with Munaf. We miss you for the first few games here, so go ahead and drop some of your plays.
Yeah, I know. I think pretty much consensus is that everybody likes the Bucks first quarter. I agree with that play. I'll take the Bucks first quarter team total over 30.5. Again, Indiana's defense again not very good. Now we have Giannis and company coming into town, and the numbers speak for them, so I'm not going to regurgitate all that again. Also do like the first half over that we talked about in the Raptors and the Warriors game. I know the numbers were kind of overwhelming. Warriors offense falls off in the second half. I think they'll come out and play with a lot of pace as they usually always do. So I think what was that 121.5? Was it, Chris? 120.5?
120.5,
Yeah, I'll take one. And then Siakam over 1.5 3-point shots made here tonight. That's at plus 130. I was surprised to see this number at plus money. 4 straight career games against the Warriors. He's knocked down at least 2. And then 3 out of those 4 games, he's actually knocked down 3 or more. He's knocked down 2 straight games. He's knocked down at least 2 3-point shots at plus money. For him to get 2, I can't pass that up.
That's a good point. Chris, drop your officials today.
Hey, I'm gonna sound like a broken record because what Munaf said is what I'm on. RC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first quarter. Well, not Siakam. I didn't play Siakam. I like to play, but Bucks first quarter minus the 2.5. I also me and Munaf do this a lot where we take both. So I took the first quarter too. Team total over 30.5. Right? Yeah, over 30.5 as well. RC. And then that Toronto game we just talked about, man. I like the first half to go over 120.5. Also. strong look towards the Cavs. I probably won't. I mean, I'm sorry, towards the Thunder, but I probably won't get there on there. And do want to find a prop. I do feel like we have some 3-point defenses that are pretty poor tonight. So I'll probably find one prop as well that I'll be on, but I just don't have it yet.
All right. All right. So Austin Wang was here. Austin Wang, _HTX. He's from Action Network. He was in here for a little bit, dropped some officials as well. He's on the Warriors first half over, also the full game over, and also the Magic +8.5. And Jay was here. He was here for like about 15-20 minutes as well. He was with us with the Bucks first quarter, -2.5. He also liked the Grizzlies. I believe it was the first quarter and the full game, but he said he couldn't talk anyone off the trifecta there. Also leaned towards the Cavs was another way that he was going, Cavs and the Raptors. For me, I've only placed the Bucks first quarter -2.5. I think I'm gonna ride with you guys on that team total 30.5. I think it's smart to do both. I think it is smart to do both in my opinion. So I'm gonna take both of those. I do like the look of that Raptors Warriors first half over, and then the second half under. I think that's the same game flow that we saw the other day with the Rockets. So a lot of the things that we looked at and researched for that Rockets game flow is the same that we saw today. So I think that's exactly how it goes. As far as that, I think I was also leaning towards the Magic as well. I might get there. I might get there with the Magic there. As always, no props for me though. The only way that I play props is really just telling you guys, because you guys are the pros over there on the prop side. I think that's it. I
see two more things real quick. One thing is, you mentioned the Magic. I totally forgot about the Magic. Really close to playing that +8 as well.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. I'm with you there. Really like the Magic, and I did find the SDQL if you wanted to bring it back up. I see.
Yeah. Right, let's do it real quick before we cut out. And no one popped up, so we could just cut it. Present share. All right, let's go. Go ahead, Chris.
It's in the chat. You see it?
Oh, in the private chat.
Yeah, I put it in the private chat.
Oh, gotcha.
You just copy and paste it. So it's just home favorites where their opponent's playing on their third game in 4 nights. You just need the money line, right? Because it's a spread that's 1. So you look at that and you see all the recent covers. Like, look, you go down to the bottom.
I see. Real quick. This is the SDQL on this, I think, is the opposite of what you're meaning to do. If you do previous opponent, that means who they faced in the previous matchup, not your opponent's previous rest.
Right. No, I feel like when I do, so I did P and O, and you're saying it's supposed to be OP. But
yeah,
when I do the OP, I feel like it didn't come up. Like I couldn't find I couldn't get this game to come up when I did that.
All right, so we're saying that the Cavs
are on the third game in 4 nights.
Third game in 4 nights. So the Cavs are in the third game in 4 nights. That would be OP. Rest equals 1. Opponent previous rest equals 1. Right there. So the Cavs are there, and then
Gotcha. Okay.
OPP rest equals 1.
Maybe it didn't come up because they're not there.
Yeah, they're not.
Okay, maybe they're not in the third game in 4 nights.
This is third game in 4 nights.
OP. I mean, fourth game is 6 nights.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that one, right, real quick. If you were saying the PO, that's where the P's and the O's kind of gets mixed up.
Tell me about
it. Is the order of it. So if you're trying to say that their current opponent, their previous rest was 1, it's OP. If you say PO is their previous opponent, so whoever the Thunder played last, their rest equals
would be
1.
the Hawks, right?
Yeah,
right. No, I got you.
Exactly.
I got you.
Yeah.
Right. So this one here, RC shows what is that? What was the straight up?
63 and 25. So still profitable if you're taking the money line here.
Right, taking my money line. Right. Okay.
Yeah. We can even just filter for the line and see where that goes. So you see that there within the 4. $14.6 straight up, 12.8 ATS. in that spot. Yeah. If we look at, I mean, hopefully that makes sense though. The P's and O's.
No, it definitely does.
Yeah. Okay. That's it, guys. That is the show today. Hopefully, we guys help you guys cash on some stuff. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, nobody popped in. I was surprised. I thought LJ was gonna pop in. I thought some people would pop in and drop some plays here, but maybe people are not ready for the camera yet. I mean, that might be it. I know a lot of people be showing up to your spaces, Chris, and dropping a lot of information. And yours starts in 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? Your space is there. Also, Munaf, he does a lot of podcasts with the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, right? Is that
Yes,
what's
sir?
called?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just did an NFL show, so make sure you guys follow these guys on Twitter. They should have some links to their podcast, to their spaces, to all their shows that they do. Only bring top guys onto the show here. I mean, I really trust the minds of Chris and Munaf and other guys that pop in. Jay, obviously, Austin, Ski, all these guys that pop in here.
Ski.
With that said, end of the show, guys. Till Monday. Always got to end with this, right? Whether you fade us or follow us, it's on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time. Peace.